This is Dr. Bill Quarter with one question for today's presentation. How can you help your college student? And by that I mean, how can you help make their college career a successful career leading to a smooth transition and a successful transformation into adulthood? And I want to preface this question with the explanation of why I'm looking at this topic, and that is I just published my second book, A Father's Letters. And what the book is, it's a collection of the letters and emails that I wrote to each of my two daughters over the 4 years of their college experience. They were separated by 2 grades, so I had 2 college students overlapping for 4 years, but I constantly wrote them letters. And I wrote them letters offering my opinions, my wisdom, my experiences, and we had an ongoing dialogue, an ongoing communication. And at the end of those 6 years total with my 2 daughters, I was a very different parent at the end of college than I was at the beginning of high school. And I think the transformation was extremely important and extremely valuable. And I think the transformation is a little countercultural. And I think our culture is moving in the wrong direction. And I think that many parents are not helping their college children, college students, as much as really they should be, and obviously as much as they want to be. So here's my recommendations for becoming a better parent and becoming a better helper to your college student. Number 1, you really have to make a transition to move away from your goals for your children to their goals. And that's a significant distinction. You really need to let them follow their passions, their interests, not your interests. That's one step in the transformation you need to make, because most parents, whether they admit it or not, they go in with some expectations for their child, often hoping their child will choose the high-income major that leads to the high-income job. We're really financially driven. And even in college, kids get a lot of peer pressure to go after certain levels of income. I strongly disagree. I think you have to follow your passions. You have to follow your interests. And the parent has to be supportive of those interests. Number 2, I think it is extremely important to back away from grades. All of us have a preoccupation in grades in high school to try to get into college because they are so competitive. But once you get into college, I don't think should be a preoccupation with grades at all. Learning, yes, emphasize learning, but emphasize learning in the classroom and outside the classroom. I can tell you that I do not know the grades for either one of my children for either their college experiences for any year. Never asked, never questioned those, never put any emphasis. Put emphasis on learning, and I put emphasis on the next component, which is extracurricular activities. I think in college the extracurricular activities are probably more important than the in-classroom activities. And I look back at my 2 daughters, and how they transformed and grew and became grown women by the time they graduated. I think it was due to their experiences outside of the classroom, to their exposure to certain areas, to their areas of interest outside the classroom. That's where they really blossomed into grown women. So I really think that parents should focus on the extracurricular activities more so than the classes. And the 4th component, and it's one that's so often overlooked, is that I think parents really have to be supportive and give high priority to friendships, and friendships in college. I know when I was a student in college, I was a workaholic. I was pre-med, heading to medical school. It was competitive. I spent so many hours studying. I didn't really develop as many friends as I would have liked in retrospect to have done. I think your child needs to do just the opposite. I think when you have developed a lot of friendships in college and you come to graduation and you have those friendships and you carry them into adulthood and into the real world, they're a tremendous source of support. They are a tremendous source of strength. And I think in today's competitive world, and as I often repeat, toxic world, you need that support. You need the support from the parent and you need the support from your friends. So if you have a high school student heading towards college, if you have someone right now in college, or if you just want to remember those days, I think if you read a father's letters, you'll see the transformation that I think is most helpful. So develop the habit of changing your priorities for your child. Develop your habit so that your priorities match their priorities. And I guarantee you those priorities are going to include more freedom, more escape from grades and preoccupation with grades, more focus on passion and interest, not just in class, but outside of class. And I think it will focus more on friendships and those that last a lifetime. I think if you can make those habits and develop the support for those behaviors, you'll do your child a tremendous amount of benefit. So try to become a better parent as your child makes that transition to become a better person. Thank you for listening. Again, drbillcorder.com for more material on all of this. And again, a father's letters. Thanks for giving me the time and those areas consideration. Thank you.